The very first RCI LMU Sprint Championship comes to its natural conclusion today in Brazil, a track that has stood for over 80 years and has delighted racing fans ever since its inception in 1940. Hello, everybody, and welcome to LMU Sprint Fridays. Welcome to the series finale live from Autodromo Interlagos in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I'm Jesse Lee, joined by Katrina, bringing you the finale and bringing you the pictures of all the action today. As always, is Ted Edwards. Right off the bat, Katrina, welcome in. Welcome to your first finale. And boy, do we have a good one on deck.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to watch what the drivers have in store for us today, Jesse, with the championship being so close. Right at the top, everybody's fighting for position. It's going to be a good one.
Speaking of the championship, let's jump right in and show you how the championship has stacked up in split one in the hypercar class. Adam Kapslar leading at 225 points over David Pettit. Pettit can still win this championship. If Kapslar has some sort of failure or finishes outside the top 10, it is very much doable that David Pettit can win this championship. Barnabas Fazekas has an outside chance after Circuit of the Americas did not go his way 1 week ago. Behind them, probably not so much. Mitchell Rodriguez in fourth place. Peter Roche round out the top five. Kirtan Sirik, Dreesh, Kuzma, and Ramos round out your top 10. And just because Rodriguez and Roche probably can't win the championship doesn't mean they can't beat each other. Outside the top 10, as you take a look at the points totals on the right-hand part of the screen, Badowski, Fonza, Martins, Gottschalk, and Octane are the top 15. Akar, Cooper, Skidnov, Keller, Shekarjev, and Adamu, the 21 hypercar drivers. Francisco just joining us here for the finale today, making use of the join whenever you want aspect of RCI. RaceRCI.com. Check out our schedule. Join a race you're interested in. From the hypercars to the LMG T3s, Christopher Streipa has a significant lead, and I think a potentially insurmountable one in the first place position in split one LMG T3 over Klaus Nyring. Ryan Gill, who is not with us this evening, has signed out of the race after a dramatic exit from the race at Circuit of the Americas. They will likely fall to Ellis Buckley or even potentially Dan Van Zutphen if they are here today. Phil Vick outside the top 10 with Grant Willamont, Lindner, Jackson, and Beckett making up the top 10 positions in split one LMG T3. Cotton, Cinny, Malcolm, Oskin, Luca, and Lawrence, the 16 drivers that have either signed up or taken part. Well, Katrina, as you can see, it's quite close for a lot of positions. Adam Kapslar for the hypercar class, the car we're paying attention to. They've done excellent work this season, but they've not been infallible. They've had issues just like everybody else, teething issues, if you will. Tonight is the night. They cannot afford to have that happen.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be one of them races for Adam. You know, he's going to want to keep everything nice and clean, make sure he gets around that track to make sure he can maximise the points whilst trying to pass, set pace, be out front in a very comfortable position to hoping to be in, which we know that he can. Jesse, we've seen it before, but like you say, sometimes that hasn't been the case. But hopefully today he manages to keep on top and takes that first place.
Well, here is Christopher Streipa for LMGT3. They are your basic champion-elect in this category. It was a close fight between him and a couple of other drivers, Ellis being one of them. Ryan Gill took it to them in the midseason after a frustrating first part of the season. But let's get the elephant out of the room really quickly. Those are windscreen wipers going on the cars, and they are sort of necessary around here. We have been dealing all day with intermittent rain showers that have continuously kept the track at least a little bit damp, but not fully wet. And that has entertained us because, at least in some of the classes, we've seen a mixing of the tires, wets versus mediums. And in fact, we see that here today, even though it looks like it's all the same tire. It isn't. Some of those are W's, some of those are M's. I've seen this in a bag of M&Ms once, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. An interesting field mix here of different tires going on. Maybe Nyring hoping that he can find that small, tiny slither of dry track to fast lap.
Klaus Nyring, I thought was going to do a mixed tire setup there. They didn't. They were just switching the tire, but just about everybody on wets now except Parma. Parma is the one car out there. Oh my goodness, on dries, but my goodness, even in Brazil, Mustangs will be Mustangs, and that's exactly what the Proton Racing Mustang of Martin Lawrence has done. I talked about this for a couple of weeks, almost wishing it into existence, Katrina, that the Mustang came out since we started the championship. Drivers that have joined are not allowed to change their car mid-season. They can change class, I think, but they can't change car. So we didn't see any of the new cars. But now we have seen one of the newest cars, the Ford Mustang, the Proton Racing Mustang in this case, with Martin Lawrence.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you say, we haven't seen any, but today we have, and hopefully we can see Lawrence put some good lap times in and see him contend and see how this Mustang handles against the rest of the cars on the track.
That is going to be the big question, as Cormac Malloy, fresh off of his fantastic top 5 finish at Circuit of the Americas, continuing to do work, has gone quicker than Christoph Ostreipa, champion-elect here in the class. What is my stepson doing? What is he doing out there? He must have got that from his mom, I'll tell you that right now. But I will say, Christoph Ostreipa is very close up at the board. That will not trouble him at all. Buckley into third, Beckett fourth, Redford fifth. But you bring up a good point, Katrina. We've not seen this Mustang in competition in LMU. We don't know how it's going to react. We don't know what to expect, and I worry that we may not know what to expect even after today with the damp racetrack. That is the condition. That is what we expect to be dealing with all afternoon long. Intermittent rain showers, nothing particularly heavy on the radar, just sort of annoying little showers. You're British, Katrina. You know all about this weather.
Yeah, absolutely. To me, Jesse, this is a normal, everyday occurrence.
What do you mean? It's a normal summer day.
And a bit of rain, got to be careful. Watch out for the puddles. You know how it is.
British people just get on with it, I think, is my take away from you lot. And a little bit of rain doesn't bother any of you. I think us as Americans, we act like we're going to melt like we're the Wicked Witch or something. But you lot don't really care. And that's very interesting to me. Martin Lawrence trying to get the handle of the Proton Mustang, and so far, as of yet, unable to do exactly that. Klaus Nyring has yet to set a qualifying lap. If this is your first race with us, this is how it works. The first 10 minutes of qualifying are the LMGT3s. Bear in mind, there are 2 different classes inside the LMGT3 qualifying group, Split 1 and Split 2. We'll try to update you when that is relevant in the future. The same thing will happen. The second 10 minutes of the qualifying session are only hypercars, and those also have Split 1 and Split 2. What's the difference? It's basically a pace and sort of a knowledge base. You would assume rookies to bronze drivers in the Split 2 category, pros and silvers in Split 1, if you want to equate it to something a bit more familiar to you. I gotta say, it's coming down pretty good. It wasn't coming down this good in practice, Katrina, and I think that's throwing the teams a little bit, and that might also be why we're not seeing a lot of movement on the timing board.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like they're all just adjusting a little bit to, the little bit more rain that there is happening at the minute. But if we continue to see more rain like this might be a good little practice session. Even if they might not set faster laps, it'll be good for them to get some more heavier rain practicing or qualifying going on a couple of minutes.
Couple of minutes left to go, and I think more than anything, if you cannot improve your lap, as Klaus Nyring proves me wrong there and sets his first representative time in the 155 Ferrari and goes P3 with that time. Nobody able to catch as of yet Cormac Malloy, a 43.2 3:86, the mark to be. 3/10 off is Verstappen, then Klaus Nyring. Buckley, Beckett, the top 5. Redford, Lawrence, and Parma, the 8 cars doing battle here. And you can see that is the Iron Lynx Lamborghini coming out of pit road. But Jesse, I thought you said that they can only go out on the racetrack once it hits 10 minutes. That is true. They're going to line up and wait. This is something else the British do really well. This is called queuing. Nobody does it better than the British. Nobody complains about it more than Americans. But this is brilliant. This is them waiting. They do this every week, and we don't see it because we're focused on what's going on in the LMGT3 class. But because of the nature of the racetrack, we don't expect anyone to really pick up a whole lot here. They've done that every week. It's incredibly interesting to see. As soon as that hits 10 minutes to go, they're going to release, and it's going to be a mad dash to get out there in space. And here is a Porsche. Here is a Porsche. So in the finale, Matteo Parma's joined us with Martin Lawrence, and they've joined us in 2 new cars, the Porsche and the Mustang.
I like the look of Porsche. I think it's one of my favorites.
Very interesting car selections here, and man, I love it. I love mid-season signups, and sometimes people question, why do you allow folks to come in mid-season as the prototypes are released? And this could be a bit tricky here because Parma, I believe, got to the line to be able to do a legal lap. As long as he crosses the line before 10 minutes, he gets to complete that lap. Flying laps do count. The problem with that is these hypercars, led by Adam Kapslar for AF Corsa, they're way quicker than them, and they might catch... Oh, it's not going to matter anyway. Oh, that's Klaus Nyring, in fact. As they have struggled there. Mike Redford off of the racetrack as well. I hope that's not a sign of things to come. Martin Lawrence, I think, improved on his lap a little bit, but needs to come back to the pit lane. Here is Matteo Parma continuing their lap. Now, this is a valid lap that they're on. Just hoping that he doesn't get caught by the hypercars, and I think he'll just get there as we're coming through the final section of the racetrack right now. Turns 12 up into 13. He should get away with this. We'll see if it's an improvement. It's 2 green sectors, meaning it's a personal best in both. Looks like he's got that Porsche under control, does Parma. Looking to set a time at all. He hasn't set a single valid lap. He has done here. It's a 46.859, and for no other reason, it's confidence boosting to get a lap in there to kind of understand what you're dealing with. And this is, at this point, Katrina, this is the wettest we've seen the racetrack. This is the trickiest condition, I think, that we've seen all season. We've seen a full wet race, but I think this is even more tricky considering it's not completely soaked and it's not dry either. You have no notebook for this if you're in either class, but especially a hypercar. You don't know aerodynamically what the car is going to do. You don't know what to expect grip-wise. Tricky situation.
Yeah, I wonder if this will play into what we saw last week, Jesse. The whole energy saving and things like that, how that's going to work out as well with the rain and the conditions on the...
Adam Kapslar is going to give us the first idea of what this is like. We've got a couple of new drivers in this class, the hypercar class as well. Francesco Adamiu, one of those drivers out there. He's in an Iron Lynx Lamborghini. And of course, 2 different classes inside the hypercar class, Split 1 and Split 2, all fighting for different championships here in the finale. Looking at chat, as we always are. Jordan Daly's joined us. Man, we've missed him. He's been away for a little while, but my God, it's just good to have him around more. We missed you, buddy. Glad to have you back. Miguel Martin's confirming that the Mustang sounds and drives so good. Martin Lawrence would disagree with that based on the huge slide, and look at that. David Pettick, Tokyo drifting around the turn. And well, he's got four-wheel drive, so it's a little less surprising that he saved it. But even still, I'm quite sure that's not how he meant to take that corner.
Definitely looks like the rain, the track condition, the wetness playing a bit of havoc to how he normally the car around the track. Still got time, still got 6 minutes to, you know, focus, set a good lap.
Barnabas Face gets the quickest, trying to right all the wrongs from a week ago. Would have had a shot to win this championship had he just finished. Couldn't keep it on the road at Circuit of the Americas. It was an absolute nightmare race for Barnabas in the Peugeot, and it has all but erased his opportunity to win the championship. He's going to need some luck. He's definitely going to need Kapslar to have a failure here today where he is unable to continue. Vasquez basically needs to win the race, more or less, to make all of that happen. Reading more messages from chat, Tim says, Split 2 gang. Shout out to Split 2 joining us here tonight as well. A lot of call for the Aston V12 to be added to LMU. I would assume, I'm not a developer. I don't work for Studio 397, but I'm going to go ahead and confirm it for him. The car's coming. There's no way that car is not coming. It's just, it's a statistical impossibility. Like me being able to do math live. It's a statistical impossibility that car does not come. I'm confirming it before Studio 397 does. I've already done your work for me. Send me a check in the mail.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it too, to be honest. I'm an Aston Martin fan, so I can't wait to see it on track.
Okay. That's fair enough. I mean, only a certain kind of individual does not like an Aston. Mike Redford's joined us in chat to give feedback on their qualifying effort in LMGT3. His message, quite simply, that sucked. Yeah, that did look incredibly uncomfortable. The rain is, admittedly, coming down significantly harder than it was. I wouldn't say it's a heavy rain by any stretch of the imagination, but it's significantly harder rain. It's I wouldn't say it's waterlogging parts of the racetrack, but there are puddles on the asphalt, and they are sort of more tiptoeing through some of these corners. And wet tires, I would assume at this point, are all but precursory, and you can see that the blue banded tires are the wet tires, the wet Michelins. And I would imagine just about every car is going to be on them right about now. Cormac Malloy, by the way, just going back, that is a pole position for Cormac Malloy here in RCI. He has done something that I think, I mean, I don't know if Ted's ever had a pole position over like in a category, but it's really hard to do. I think winning a race is easier to do than getting a pole position. So well done indeed. But anyway, back to hypercars. Face gets over Adamu and Kapslar now the top three. Roshan Kirtan. Baker spinning the car around, and I believe he's going he's going the right way on the track. That reverse camera angle absolutely threw me for a loop through the middle section of the racetrack. I thought he was going backwards through 7. He wasn't. He was in turn 7, just not going backwards.
But he was backwards, which probably
yes!
not enjoying it very much out there on the track.
And that wasn't turn 7 either. That was turn 10 that he was into. But nevertheless, correct. He was backwards. The camera wasn't. And that absolutely threw me.
Yeah, we just Lee is not having very good fun. 15.
Well, that's the best first name in sim racing, but that is not the best position to be in that corner. And we're being told in our ear, Katrina, that they're going off left, right, and center right now. This is not a hospitable racing surface anymore.
No, this looks like we're past the point of just maybe having a moist track, and we're fully having people are struggling. Jesse is what I would say. There's many people in the barriers.
Van der Velken into the barrier really hard in the Iron Lynx 19 Lamborghini. The rear wing removed off that car. That'll be a return to the garage, and they won't be able to get a valid lap out of this. Facekiss still leading with a 33.693, a nice time for them, 3/10 over Francisco Adamu. Capslar in third, Roche Kierton now. Louis Kierton continuing to impress in the maiden season. The junior Kierton racer we have here at LMU, or at RCI, making a name for themselves in LMU, posting top 5 finishes and top 5 starts as well. Medic, Sirik, Ramos, Rodriguez, Van der Veuken, the top 10. Becker, Martins, Skidnov, Dreesh, Boss, Whittle, Passau, and Baker. 18 cars, and maybe more than 18, but at least the timing and scoring shows us 18. That's not Miguel Martins, that's Mikel Ramos, who I don't know how they've managed to make it where they were. That must have been a very uncomfortable long slide in the Jota Porsche.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that they had made their way quite a way off the track as well.
Chat continuing to talk about what potentially is in store for LMU in the future. I'm going to go ahead and announce another car. Again, I don't work with Studio 397. I don't have insider information. I'm just going to announce it. Yeah, the LM GT3 Lamborghini, it's coming. It's absolutely coming. When? Who knows? But it's coming. There, another announcement. Pay me, Studio 397. I'm doing the hard work for you here. Adam Capslar continuing to try and improve. Only needs 18/100ths of a second, Katrina, to take a second row start and turn it into a front row start.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to see a very interesting race today with all of these fast-paced cars that we know have the potential to all win the race. So, yeah, although they do look like Kaspar is going to be down on his time again in the next sector, but he might not make up the place. I think he can from the start, so definitely watch out for.
Yeah, I think the track's just deteriorated too much, and I think this is just a fact-finding mission for everybody involved, as they're already off in turn number 1 there as time has expired, and that will not be an improvement for Adam Capslar, who will stay in third place. Not a worry for Adam, though, as they don't really have to do a whole lot here today to win the championship. It's what they mustn't do that is more important. Francesco will bring the outside pole-sitting car into pit lane. They will not finish their final lap. Peter Roche will in the number 36 Alpine. Had a good first sector, a bad middle sector. I'm assuming an incident there based on how down on the Delta they were. They will also come in. Mikel Ramos will not even set a lap there. And that will all but do it here for qualifying for the finale. Here are the results of qualifying. Barnabas Facekiss, who, oh, what might have been if he would have just been able to finish a week ago with pole position here. We would be talking about a very close race indeed between Capslar and Facekiss, but alas, Facekiss still on pole position over Francisco Adamu by 0.3 of a second. Capslar and Roche share the second row. Louis Kierton, David Pettick on the next. Maciej Sirik and Mikel Ramos, got ahead of myself there in the next. And on row 5, Michel Rodriguez, Milan van der Veuken, the top 10 in hypercar. Outside the top 10, Van Driesch and Becker, Mikel Martins, Skidnov, Boss Whittle, Passau, and Baker, the 18 hypercars we have today. Again, spread amongst 2 different classes. The results of qualifying for LMGT3, Cormac Malloy post his very first pole position in his RCI career, and he does it in the wet at Interlagos in LMU, a track that I talked to him the other night, by the way, said, oh yeah, I should probably practice for that, huh? So take that for whatever you want. Out-qualifies Klaus Nyring by nearly 0.3. They'll share the front row. Bustrepa, your champion-elect in Buckley in row number 2. Beckett Lawrence next. Redford Parma your 8 qualifiers in LMGT3. So we showed you the championship points in the first split. There's also championship points in the second split, and we'll try to keep you abreast of that as best as we possibly can as well throughout the day, and be able to let you know how they are ultimately finishing as well. We may have a little help with that in the post race as well. Someone in chat's asking, is anyone racing here from the Oceania region? Today, I don't know. I would have to look at the entry list. I can do, and I'll get back to you on that. But, Katrina, it's mixed conditions. It's Interlagos. It's a place that has a lot of undulations, a lot of cambered corners, a lot of places, as we saw in quali, where it can go wrong. Is the key to today's race just keeping it on the island?
Yeah, I think so. I think the drivers are going to be super careful on, trying not to make any mistakes that can cost them the race here. So I think what we're going to see is maybe, hard racing, because there's going to be people that want better points than others. But I think we are going to see clean racing, hopefully. And yeah, just an entertaining finale, hopefully.
Well, there you go. And while you were, I think you're right, by the way, while we were going over that, I did have a look at the entry list. There is not a single driver from Oceania here in today's race. We need more representation. If you are from the Australasia or Eastern Asian area, we have a couple of drivers. Masatoshi Kaneko, one of those drivers that joins us, Night Owl champion, in fact, hailing from the island of Japan. We've had many different drivers that come from small islands, but most of them in the Caribbean, not the Pacific, funnily enough. I don't think have we ever had a driver from the Philippines? Now that strikes me as odd that maybe we've never had a driver from the Philippines. I'm waffling here as the countdown ends. What's the weather look like? Well, it's wet. It is raining somewhat lightly. And this is the dangerous part. They won't really know what the track conditions are until they get through the first lap or so. I worry, I hope I'm incorrect, but I worry that there may be a calamity on this opening lap, as Interlagos is known to hand us.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope everybody takes on board that is normally what happens, though, and you try to give everybody enough space. I don't know whether we'll see that as we see them set off.
Not a full procession lap here as we get ready to start the finale of LMU Sprint Series Season 1. It's been a great one. We've learned just as much as the drivers have done. A field that looks still incredibly strong. Coming to the conclusion of the season here in Sao Paulo, Brazil. We thank you all for being with us. We hope that you've enjoyed the championship as much as we have bringing it to you. We invite you to like, subscribe, and follow, depending on what platform you're watching on. The race goes green. The tires try to get some grip in them, and immediately Capslar looks to gain position on the Peugeot. Can't do it. Facekiss is going to be clear, but Adamu is going to have to go side by side with Capslar. This is so Formula One-esque up through these corners. Capslar knew that if he hung around the outside through turns 2 and 3, he might be able to get a run, and he has done, but he's stalled out. Barnabas Facekiss driving away. Adamu not giving up. Capslar to his inside. The outside will favor Adamu here, And Francesco might be able to pull this back out, and in fact he is doing. Behind them, Roche and Kierton racing each other side by side, still trying to get the better of each other. Looks like Roche has won that fight. Still side by side though is the Lamborghini and the Ferrari. Now finally single file again, a crossover move. Kapslar goes down to the inside. He's fighting Francesco for this spot, and he's going to lose it again. What an excellently spirited fight there that sees Francesco Adamu win it finally, but only after half a lap of battling. Well done by both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Great team racing, and it was great to see them fight it out. I don't think this will be the last that we see of this. I think Kapslar will want this position bad and will come back.
Maybe reload and try it again, figure out what they can do, because that was nearly perfect in my opinion from Adam Kapslar. Just ended up being on the not being able to get the pass done due to the limited traction in my opinion, and an excellent defense by Francesco Adamu there, just able to get the grip in the right time to pull just clear. And again, even after that, had to fend off an additional fight. Cormac Malloy did not get off the line as good. They've been overtaken by veteran Klaus Neiring, the 155 Ferrari, over the 95 United Autosports McLaren. And one of the cars has gone off. Is that Mike Redford?
Yeah, I think it was. Who happened to have taken third place away from Verstappen, but looks like having a bit of issue keeping that car on the track.
Well, the thing about turn one at Interlagos going into the Senna S's is that it's uphill all the way from whenever you come through turn 12 Jean-Cal all the way through to Senna S's. It's uphill. Your braking zone into one is so short because it's uphill, but you cheat up on it a lot. But the problem is there's a cliff. If you go over the camber of the corner, the banking of the corner, it runs back downhill, and there's a nasty wall over there. There's runoff. There's a nasty wall over there. Thomas, you ever hit that wall? I bet you have. Because you lock up, you do anything that messes up your entry, you're gone. And that's exactly what happened to Redford there. They just went a little bit too deep, and unlike a normal corner where you just, run off and come back on, it goes downhill where the banking falls away, and it runs, you run away from the racetrack. Essentially, it's like a roller coaster almost, is what it feels like. Michelle Rodriguez here trying to fight off the Porsche, and will do just that. Cyric will have to try that again. Now it looks like Michelle Rodriguez has taken the 7th place position. Didn't get a great run, though, if I'm honest, did Rodriguez. And here comes Cyric back. Cyric back on the outside. This is a corner that, even though it's very acute, you can get a run off the outside if you stay side by side. Unable to do that. Actually loses time there. And here comes Van Driesch in the Lamborghini right behind them, who actually got the better run of all three of them as they continue on. Before the race actually started, Redford, who we saw go off, said the spray is absolutely horrible in the pack. Said that we should probably take a look on board, and yeah, it isn't so bad here because of the low-speed nature of the race course, but yeah, there it's kicking up a little bit. Katrina, you ever? Oh no, Cormac Malloy, your pole sitter in LMGT3. They've gone off in a major way. Huge accident into the wall. Broadcaster's gonna find it. Katrina, do you typically try to avoid driving in spray like that?
Yeah, if I can, I'll back out of a situation where I can't see, because I like to be able to see what I'm doing.
It's fair enough. Oh, and this is the same thing. This is exactly the same thing. See, a lot of these corners, you can actually see the banking I was talking about earlier illustrated there. If you run off the back of the corner, meaning you have too much speed, and you run over the top of the corner, it's all downhill. The car doesn't brake properly. And he just drove off of the racetrack, and it's all downhill, and it's hard to keep it out of the wall. And that is going to be a retirement. We have seen so many pole position cars retiring mid-race. Add Cormac Malloy to that list.
Yeah, absolutely, which is such a shame after we saw such a good battle from him and Kerrigan last week. And I thought we were going to see the same this week. Just wasn't the case for Cormac, but hopefully that doesn't put him off LMU and he comes back and he partakes in different series or race that we have here at RCI.
Well, for Klaus Nyring anyway, that's music to their ears. The pole sitter out of the race, and nobody currently challenging them. Zeno Van Drisha spun the car. No other major drama there. Just looped it looked like, under braking. Easy to do in these conditions whenever the tires are loaded up in one side. That's the biggest handling quirk of these hypercars, is when the car is loaded up on its springs and on one set of tires and you change direction, they don't like that and it will snap. And in the rain, the reason that happens is if it goes to slip and you try to correct that slip, it will just go around on you a little bit. It's a weird handling characteristic that if you're used to just driving GT3s, you don't really have any sort of presence of mind of what that feels like, because you're so used to being able to catch a GT3. Sometimes in these, it happens so quickly, you just really can't do that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, these drivers are great drivers, but sometimes even the best drivers can't handle with, how quick everything happens. Hypercar.
We have a race here for 4th place here. Looks like, oh no, this is for 3rd. That's Beckett, in fact, in the BMW. Martin Lawrence is able to drive through. Martin Lawrence left us a message in chat earlier, all capital letters. I don't know what I'm going to try that again. I don't know what to do here. This might be Martin Lawrence's very first appearance ever at Interlagos. He had a qualifying effort that seemed to indicate that maybe he didn't know what he's doing, but Martin Lawrence, a race car driver in his own right, he knows that you follow somebody long enough, you kind of learn the track, you learn what you need to do, and ooh, that Mustang still looks very unsettled out there, but never makes no difference. He's got by Dave Beckett and up into a podium spot here in his debut.
Yeah, like you say, if you'd have seen the same pace and stuff that he had in qualifying, I'm a little bit shocked, but sometimes it does happen. You get out on the racetrack and you put your racing boots on and you say, do you know what, let's give it our all, and that seems to be what Martin is doing in that Mustang. So lovely to see the Mustang up there contending for podium positions.
Yes, indeed. Saber earlier was wondering about the net code in LMU. It's not like, I don't know how to explain this because it's unlike any other sim. It's not that it doesn't exist. It's just you don't notice it, is the best way I can explain it. There's no like blinking, if you will, if you're used to iRacing. There's no hitting cars from a mile back like there are in ACC. There is netcode, I can assure you of that. It is an online sim, but you don't notice it's there. It's very smooth. So if you are from the Oceania region, I wouldn't worry about that too much at all, honestly. I would definitely give LMU a go. I think they've kind of got that figured out quite a little bit. So the nearest thing I can relate the netcode in LMU2 is Gran Turismo 7, where it's either so abysmal it's obvious or it doesn't exist at all. And obviously for it to be that bad, I think you would have to have a connection problem in your own right. Baker here attempting to get racy, nearly runs off of the race track in their pursuit of 17th place. Cormac has joined us and left a word there. Katrina, what do you say?
He said, I guess my brakes decided to leave.
Oh, I wonder if he had a braking issue. Yeah. So I was wondering why he was less than 25% on the brakes going in there, but he had full brakes right before he hit the wall. But I do worry that was an issue, and we're going to have an issue here in the turn. Baker's going to collide with the BMW, and that's going to send the 51 AF Corsa Ferrari around. Oh, and instead of trying to rejoin in a silly manner, he's taken the cut but hit the tire pack. More damage done to that Ferrari. We'll see if that car has suspension damage, because those are the kind of hits that give it to you, but we'll see. I don't. It looks pretty. No, it's definitely broken. Yep, so this is a straight, and he's turning to the right. That equals suspension damage.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, and how we've said all along, right from the get-go, the first race, we said about LMU's damage model, you know, not being very forgiving. Like, as you see there, little tap, lot of damage. So, unfortunately, he will have suspension damage, and, you know, he might decide to continue, or, you know, he might decide that actually he can't drive and he'll come into the pits to fix.
Well, we've definitely missed something here, Katrina. Martin Lawrence, we last left him in P3. They're up to P2, over 1.5 seconds in front of Christoph Lestrepe. Klaus Neiring flying. He's nearly 7 seconds in the lead here, unchallenged currently. Martin Lawrence, though, might be mounting a little bit of charge. We certainly missed the pass for P2 because now there's a Czech driver in it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd love to say also that Beckett is coming up fast behind Verstappen as well. So definitely seems to maybe not be enjoying the rain as much, but someone who clearly is enjoying this car is Martin.
Yeah, it's very interesting too, because Martin Lawrence, like I said, is an accomplished driver in his own right, and he's one of those drivers that I've always felt like if you show him what to do, he can replicate it. He's got that, well, if they can do it, I can do it sort of attitude. And even if they're not confident in something, they can follow other people and they can learn quite quickly. It's like a musician that doesn't have to have sheet music to learn. They can listen by ear and replicate the sound or what's being played quite easily indeed. Percussionists do that all the time. Baker has made it back to the pit lane, and there will be suspension repair to the front right of that car. The toe link, the tie rod as we call it in the US, will certainly need to be repaired. That's just the thing that keeps the wheels straight on the car. Hey, if you like what you see, or you think you would do good in all of the madness, well, go to racerci.com and sign up for any of our championships already in swing. LMU Fridays, the sprint series here, comes to a close tonight, but if you want more LMU, we've got it on deck for you. We've got Night Owl, Hyper Sprint, all the hypercars in the world, Saturday night. That series starts on April the 5th. Starting out at Sebring, going to Monza, then Algarve, Portimao, Interlagos, where we are today, and we end up in Bahrain. So that's on Saturday nights in LMU. Hypercars, oh my God, can you imagine a grid of 40 hypercars?
Fast is all I can think about.
So much. You basically got to, I'm being told that there is a wide range of cars that have already been selected for that. Yep, there's some people have taken the Glickenhaus, which Callum Kerrigan, absolute sadist. Joe McCauley playing the game on hard mode. Now that's just a natural debuff for Joe. Like I don't, he's picked that so he doesn't have a natural advantage, because I'm pretty sure Joe McCauley is one of those folks that can't solve CAPTCHAs because he's not human. There's Cadillac's already selected in there. But very interesting indeed. Pick whatever hypercar you want. But Night Owl Hyper Sprint coming at you April the 5th. The next LMU championship we're doing here at RCI. World Tour 2025 just got announced for ACC as Lee Passu into the pit lane. World Tour 2025. Grab your team. It's a 4-round championship. Donington Park, Nürburgring, that's the Nordschleife variation, the N24 variant, if you will. Suzuka, and ending in Bathurst. 4 rounds. And that championship starts on April... What does it start on? It starts on April the 19th. Sign-ups open tomorrow, I think. Yes, indeed. You will... Pre-qualifying for World Tour starts tomorrow. Grab a buddy, or 2, or 3, or 4. World Tour's back for 2025 on ACC. And of course, we have the Janetta Cup continuing. Season 3 will be at Zandvoort on Monday. Still time to get in that. It's the Janetta GT4s, and that series is incredible. Richard Whittle is around in the infield, and they're going to creep back onto the racetrack here, I think. They might be having driveline issues in that car. But he gets it out of the grass and rejoins most safely. Now he's shaking it down a little bit. But yeah, Janetta Cup in Assetto Corsa Competizione on Mondays. Got 3 rounds left. Join mid-season. Have a little fun. That series is always fun and chaotic. John Dalton anchoring things over there. And of course, the RSS Endurance Championship on iRacing. It's endurance racing at its best. The next round of that championship, April 12th. We are at Daytona. You can enter that by yourself or with a group of drivers on iRacing. We would love to have you. Round 1 was off of the charts fun. Katrina, you joined me for a little bit of that race, in fact.
Yeah, I did. On the stuff that I watched, I had a great time watching that race. Yeah.
For all that and more, racerci.com. Again, we iRacing, LMU, ACC. What more could you ask for? A fun time, a fun year, 2025, and our broadcaster and the event manager, the event admin, if you will, calling for oval racing. And since he is the event admin, and you're sort of married to him, Katrina, I'm going to assume that that's on the cards at some point. So I'm going to go ahead and leak it. You know what? Since I'm making announcements for everybody, I'm going to make an announcement for RCI. We're going to do oval racing this year. We're going to cover ovals. We're going to do it.
I think. Do you know what, Jesse? As someone who's very new
do you
here,
have an
I
announcement?
think you should. I think you should do oval racing.
Thank you, Katrina. Oh my God, Katrina, you would love it. You would love it so much. They can't hate you, Ted. I'm the idiot that said it. They can hate me. They know where to find me.
And who's they? Actually, no, don't say that.
Yeah. You want me to say? You want me to say who they are? They know who they are, and that's the only thing that's important. We're doing oval racing. We're gonna do oval racing. It's gonna be fun. You're gonna love it. I'm gonna love it. And if nobody watches, I don't care. At least I get to do oval racing like God intended me to do. There is no oval racing on the calendar currently. I just got to say that, but we have done oval racing at least a couple times for the last couple of years. It would seem to indicate that we would do oval races in iRacing at some point in the coming year. I'm only hedging my bets. Anyway, all of that, racerci.com. Check out all of our events and join us for the lunacy. Ted Edwards has highlighted there the virtual energy of all of the cars. I noticed the couple leaders in Hypercar have significantly less energy than those racing in the pack, and I think some of the drivers may be clutching a bit, but I think when you're in the middle pack, and especially if you're in that train we just saw, Katrina, you don't have to clutch because you're having to brake so early to keep from running into the back of these other cars in the wet that you're just naturally saving more battery.
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely going to see difference from what we saw last week with the weather as well. I think that will play a part in the saving of the energy. But you're right. If you're in the middle of the pack, you don't even need to. It's like the race is doing it for you, basically.
So we're not seeing any indicated clutching out of Peter Roche in the Alpine. And I wonder if we may not see that technique today that was used at Spa in the moist. It was used, well, excuse me, not in the moist, in the wet. It was absolutely drenched at Spa. But we also saw it at a dry Circuit of the Americas a week ago. I think the reason we're not seeing it here today as much is because of the nature of the racetrack, where you're off the throttle quite a bit through the middle section anyway, and you're having to deal with the wet track, and the braking zones are expanded because of the wet racetrack. You're not having to do it as much. What I'm being indicated, or what is being indicated by the virtual energy meter, that NRG meter, is that I don't think anyone will have to come down pit lane today to refill the energy meter. I think everyone's going to be close, or everyone's going to be good. The only couple that I think are going to be close, if we have the graph of all the drivers of what percentage they're at, is the leaders were very close to 50% around the halfway mark in the race, and they're going to have to be careful. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be good to see going into the, the 3/4 of the race, what we are at compared to what we're at now, to see if, in a good 15 minutes, if we think that case is going to change and they will need to come down the pit lane. But like you say, for now, everybody's sitting around the same. A couple of people at the front have used slightly less than middle of the pack, but hopefully, with a little bit of smart saving, they should be okay.
Juan in chat's asks, is there any additional series planned for iRacing? I don't know, and I've not heard any rumors of any additional ones, so I'm willing to believe that as far as series are concerned, that the RSS Endurance Series is the current iRacing series that is on offer. So that's a real answer, not a speculatory answer like everything else. As an admin, I would probably have heard about it by now. So RSS Endurance Series is our iRacing series for the moment. Now, does that mean there won't be one-offs? Who knows? Our event management, sometimes they come up with wacky events, and those are always my favorite anyway, to be honest. Hot stocks in iRacing a while back, that was absolutely insane. Night Owl, for instance, was once a ridiculous idea of racing somewhat late into the evening with some quirky additional settings like additional fuel wear or tire wear, things like that. Multiple pit stops in an hour race, insanity. Those are always the funnest races in my opinion. Well, jury's still out if the drivers today are having fun. Katrina, I gotta ask you, do you think they're having fun? Well, maybe that's the answer.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think there are some people that are probably having fun. I'm gonna guess that Martin in the Ford is probably having fun. Maybe Face Kiss, LMU out in front, enjoying themselves. I wouldn't say the same for Baker. I think he's probably struggling a little bit with the track and the conditions out on track. So I think it's probably a mixed bag at the minute. Still got 36 minutes left, so anything to drive for, basically.
Oh, Maciej Sirik, was that contact or just getting loose? Either way, significant time loss. That was a little bump between the Alpine and the Penske Porsche there, and that definitely set Maciej Sirik back. It didn't seem to bother Rodriguez at all, as that fight that had cooled off for the moment, maybe reheating up just a little bit. I am worried, Katrina, about Barnabas Facekiss. Their virtual energy is not nearly close enough in my mind. I have been doing the maths, as you might expect, and my wife has been teaching me. My wife has been teaching me how to use spreadsheets to great effect. But I don't think I need a graph or a formula or a format to tell you that if he doesn't have more than 50% energy by the time we hit 30 minutes, he's going to need a pit stop, or he's going to need to start clutching, using less of that energy to make it to the end, because there are cars behind him, some inside and some outside the top five, that I know for a fact will not need to come in, and the gap is not nearly big enough for him to be able to take a stop when others don't. And there's a couple of cars that are in that same boat. Francesco Adamu's one of them. Capslar's quite close. I'm somewhat confident that Rodriguez and Pettick can in fact make it, and just need to keep doing what they're doing. All these cars back here, however, they're absolutely going to be able to make it, and this kind of illustrates the point on. This is kind of what illustrates the point of what I'm talking about. Mikel Ramos is stuck behind the Proton. So they're not using it as much anyway because they're off the throttle less. They're into the brakes more because they can't take their normal line because they have to slow up and not leave the corner as ferociously as they might like, as a BMW's off in turn 1. So all these cars are going to be able to make it, and every single one of these cars, because they're on the lead lap, would pass Facekiss. And is that Baker again? It is.
Okay,
Oh,
so that looks like we've got a double DNF here, Jesse.
I would now, due to the fact that it happened simultaneously and they were 17th and 18th, are we going to assume there was contact there?
Yes. Okay.
Oh.
So
Go
we're
ahead.
being told that that's not the case, Jesse.
Well, I'm glad it isn't because I didn't want it to be anyway. The best first name in sim racing, I'm not biased, DNF'd 1 lap prior to just seeing Baker DNF. And yep, this is what the BMW we saw off in turn number 1, just drives off and does that thing I was talking about. See how it's just sloped after you get off the banking there? Just go hard into a wall. He was able to stop it, and he has called it quits after that. But
Yeah,
the 51 of Baker, I think, spun it in DNF.
Just definitely seem that way, but it was nice of them to, join us for today's race anyway, even though maybe it didn't go their way. Great to see everybody part.
Passu's still got the best first name in sim racing, and we can't argue with that. So we have a lot of Lees in RCI. Oh my goodness, what a slide out of Van Driesch. Oh, and he spun it around, Zeno has. I thought that they were going for a drift competition. We do have the resident expert on that, Ted Edwards, behind the cameras, but that was a humongous slide by Zeno, and I thought they saved it, but as I say earlier, these cars are hard to catch in this condition because you try to grab it like you would a normal car, and it whips and nays, and it's just not great. Gonna see what happened here in turn number 1. Just following Becker's Cadillac. Got on the throttle a little bit too much there and lost it and just goes around. It's just almost impossible, Katrina, to save the car like that.
Yeah, it's just, past the point of no return at that point, and Dino just couldn't quite keep hold of it.
Jordan Daly, by the way, saying that Night Owl is the best series RCI's ever run. I agree. I'm curious, Thomas, I know they can't hear you, but are we going to go ahead and just call this new Night Owl season, LMU? Are we just going to keep it going? Is it season 21? Okay, so it's Night Owl Hyper Sprint. It's not Night Owl season 21. It is Night Owl Hyper Sprint. Will the next full season on LMU, assuming it is on LMU, will it be called season 21 when it comes? Or are you reset? He's saying that he doesn't know. He hasn't made up his mind there. I would just keep it moving. But I also can appreciate starting afresh season 1. All good things must come to an end.
Do you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to ask chat. So if you're in chat right now and you know Night Owl or you know Night Owl, what do you think? So do you think it should be a new thing with a new name, or do you think it should be Night Owl season 21?
Wow. Well, I got to say, already early in the chat, we've got folks saying that if it's not an ACC, it can't be. It has to be its own thing. Katrina, you were right to ask, and I think that we're going to have a general consensus on that. You know what? And that's fair. After 20 seasons, Night Owl switching over potentially makes it's a nice round number. And again, as I say, all good things must come to an end. You hear me, One Piece? One Piece, I'm talking directly at you. Do you realize how impossible it is to watch you or read you? You're absolutely ridiculous. I have a bookshelf full of books now because of you. Rant over.
Okay, Daly has said as
No.
champion, that's what he thinks. So he's claiming his champion title, and he said he's been a champion of Night Owl, and he thinks that it should, you know, become something new.
Mike Redford's trying to rename it Le Night Owl U. You know what though? New meme format just dropped. Well done, Mike. I like it actually, but no, that's fair enough. I think Katrina's answered the question well, Katrina asked the question and you answered it for us, I think is what's happened there. Back to the race, Christoph Verstappen continuing to struggle a little bit. You highlighted this a little while ago that Verstappen was being caught by Beckett. Beckett has now caught up to the back of Verstappen, and I will say that 7-second gap that Nyring and Lawrence had, that is also evaporating. 3 seconds now. It's more than halved since we last checked in. At this rate, according to my maths, Martin Lawrence will get there for a fight for P1 in LMGT3.
Yeah, absolutely. I said about wondering how this car was going to do against the other cars, and I think Laurent has showed us that, you know, that car is fast, and with a great driver that we know Martin is, can have pace, just like all of the other manufacturers on the track.
Joe Dauber, by the way, claiming moral victory in chat, saying that they won the last 3 real Night Owl races. Well done, Joe. Harry Conway has statistics on the entirety of Night Owl, by the way, if you've ever wanted to know where you stand. I've seen the spreadsheets. I've used them, in fact, in broadcasts over the past year or so. We've got Night Owl and ACC ended with 2 3-time Night Owl Pro Series champions. Juna Savalainen and Harry Conway. Many others have won 2 championships, including Mr. Daly, and countless wins. He's got the wins plotted and everything. It's absolutely a brilliant job.
I love that. I've been in the background since Night Owl began. So thank you so much.
Listen, your wife's posh, all right? Leave her alone.
So I feel like I've seen it evolve as such. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember from the beginning and everybody, you know, hating on Ted because he put in silly little things like, you know, you had to get so much fuel, or, you know.
Well, Katrina, it's funny. Nobody knew it was Ted until you revealed it now.
Oh,
so
it's over now, right? Because you're moving on to bigger things.
Well, they still have his hat. That's the problem, Katrina. Van der Velken.
Well, it's not mine.
Into the Thomas, if you ever get the number plate of the bus that she hit you with, you let me know and we'll find it together. Milan van der Velken down the pit lane. This is going to be a stop for them, thinking they cannot make it to the end of this race. At the current pace, Barnabas Facekiss and Francesco Adamu cannot make it to the end of this race. There are drivers in the hypercar class that can make it to the end of the race. John Becker spun around. What on? Okay, we're being told that was not an internet-related issue. That's just the way it looks sometimes. Looking for an incident here involving Becker. Oh, a huge slide. Oh, and into the wall is John Becker from split number 2. Miguel Martin's able to get through in the Proton there. 20-some kilometers slower on the straight after that slide. Nearly 2 seconds, Katrina, and one little slide. It goes to show how important. It's not even a straight here with the pit straight, but it goes to show you how important it is to get off that final corner. Actually, not even the final corner. Turn 12 is the corner you have to get off to get speed down the straight here, which isn't straight. This, of course, is the pit straight in question, and this is turn 13, I'm pretty sure. It's turn 14, actually. We're coming through there. Turn 15 right there before the line. But Zhanghao turn 12 is the one that you have to really get off to make the speed. For the first time this season, we've got a top 5 that have all stayed in the position they started. Michel Rodriguez has made incredible gains. So has Skidnov, down in 10th place, gaining 4 spots. Van der Velken has had a race to forget, losing 6 spots, the most lost in the race thus far.
I wonder how many other cars that we're going to see come into the pit lane soon.
Ooh. This is close racing here, and this is important because this is your leader in the LMGT3 field. And you can see that Mustang in the background getting ever closer, and he's almost there, Katrina. Oh, car off of the grass there.
Yeah, absolutely, and that'll just give, you know, that Mustang the want to just, you know, you can see it now, you can see it getting closer, you know that you've actively, you know, caught up. I think that'll be exciting for that Mustang.
It really does. It's hard to explain from a driver's perspective, but it gives you like an extra little boost. Like, not only do you know you're catching them, but you're catching them at a rate where even when you have just a decent lap, not even a great lap, you're still catching them. And when you see them, it's almost like dangling a carrot on a stick in front of a pig. It's the weirdest thing that happens. You almost get tunnel vision. Martin Lawrence knows he's quicker. He's known he's quicker. He's been quicker this entire time. And it's half a second to a full second most of the time. It was 0.8 the last time through. And he knows he's going to get there with time to study Klaus Nyring and potentially make the move. I tell you what, if the Proton Ford Mustang takes victory here in its maiden voyage here, there's going to be a lot of people next LMU season. Probably the Night Owl. Or actually, no, it won't be because that's hypercars. But the next LMU championship with these cars, they will be looking at the Mustang an extra little bit. And Milan van der Velken, well, what's worse than a nightmare?
A double nightmare.
2 nightmares? Oh my God, that's incredible.
I feel like is what Van Velken is having today during this race.
Feels like Groundhog Day. Just keeps sliding that car around, losing the back end of it. He's carrying too much speed for my liking, and it's causing the rear end to lose traction, and it's still like that. That car is not hooked up at all. Not too long now, we'll have a fight for P1. So before we have a fight for P1 in LMGT3, just want to give a shout out to our partners that make this race and every race possible. Ready, Set, Sim. Check out their sim rig building tools over at ReadySetSim.com. They have an incredible website that asks you what you want, what do you need, here's how you build it, and we'll send it to you all in one place. Talk about convenience. ReadySetSim.com. Coach Dave Delta, there will be more than a handful of drivers in today's field that will have been looking for a Coach Dave Academy setup for today's race. Do you know that they have iRacing, LMU, and ACC setups for all the tracks? They sure do. Check them out, CoachDaveDelta.com. Green Man Gaming is the place you go for great video games at discounted prices. Follow our link to see what they are currently offering up on offer today, usually at an incredible discount. GreenManGaming.com. Moser Racing is the leader in direct drive hardware that doesn't break the bank but doesn't skimp on quality either. Check out their range of direct drive racing hardware over at MoserRacing.com. And a special shout out to Motorsport UK for recommending us as an esports community. Thank you so much. Another lap has gone by, and well, we're no longer really measuring this in seconds. We're measuring it in feet, meters, centimeters, inches, Ooh. Miguel Ramos has gone off here. He's going to lose the top 10. In fact, he does. He goes all the way back to 12th place.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like it's just a case of self issue, and managed to keep out the wall, managed to keep it pretty much close to the track, but has lost out on positions.
I will say, I thought maybe we'd see a break in the weather a little bit here today. It would dry out a little bit, maybe just a sprinkle, but that really hasn't happened. It's been consistent sort of, I'd say, moderate rain throughout the course of the race. It's not hard by any stretch of the imagination, but it is enough to keep the track very saturated. If anything, the track has deteriorated a little bit. You can see the significant puddles on some of the Brazilian themed curbing. And those definitely weren't there at the race start, but they are now. %, versus 29%, the top two versus third place there. Those cars, we're getting to the point where that's close. I think Peter Roche is going to be fine. I think Louis Kierton's going to be fine. Michel Rodriguez, they should be okay. Pettick, who I thought earlier might be good, I was wrong about that. They are actually in the worst shape right now. They're all very close. Fazekas, Adamu, Kapslar, Pettick, very close. I think Roche, Kierton, and them, as I said, I think they're on the other edge of that. I think they're pretty all right with making it right now. I think what's happened, too, is we got to a point in this race, and I think a lot of the leaders realized that they had to save some, and I think they have begun saving, and I think that's done wonders. Still having 31% at this point kind of puts you in the realm of you can save enough to make it.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen cars kind of drop off a little bit, like no one's really fighting. Face kiss at the minute. Everyone just be, in a little race of their own.
They're not doing the clutching thing that we've seen in weeks prior. They might not have to. It could be a stability issue. It also could be just that they've gotten to a point where they don't have to do that. But either way, we're not seeing that particular strategy unfold here. Got distracted reading. Shout out to Uncle C for following us over on Twitch today. Thank you so much. Adam Reed followed us a few days ago. He may join us on commentary at some point. And shout out to Clee, who followed us a few days ago as well. Over 500 followers over on Twitch now. And here it is. The potential pass down the pit straight. That is a straight down into turn one. On the wrong side of the racetrack here is Martin Lawrence. They're going to have to fall back in line. Klaus Nyring knows how to defend here. Surely they will have seen some Formula Racing on how to deal with the Senna S's, and absolutely does exactly that. No over pursue from Martin Lawrence either as they fall back in line. They should get a run down the Retta straight. Has a little sniff, a little look, doesn't do it. Single file through Lago, turn 5 and 6. Before they head back up the hill into Ferradura. Not close enough to make a move here through 6. Argentina the next turn. Not close either. Wonder if Martin Lawrence lost a little bit there or is just sort of studying Klaus a little bit, waiting for him to go wide. Nothing going or doing in turn 9. That tight, almost hairpin. It's almost like a mini carousel, actually. Offsetting his line on purpose here through Pato. Just trying to get a better run. Kind of does. Cuts it off this time. To Mergulo. And now up to Shinkao. Going to get a tight run, a very much tighter run than Nyring this time as they thunder down the straight. didn't even know that was a camera option. That was crazy.
Yeah,
Our
just,
broadcaster
unfortunately, you couldn't see
putting
anything.
cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
Martin Lawrence looking down to the inside into the center S's, has a little sniff, has to get out of it. That's going to force Nyring wide. This is where Martin Lawrence wants to be on the outside, can't quite do it, gets covered off by Klaus Nyring. Nyring still in control of this fight. Martin Lawrence will not be able to get a run, but he may still have the horsepower to power over through the Retta straight, and they will do. Has the correct position, but again, has to get out of it early because of the acute angle. Martin Lawrence loses out again. Klaus Nyring defends again.
Yeah, absolutely. What we're seeing is we're seeing somebody who's maybe, you know, struggling just to hold on to that final move. We see him get down that inside and then, you know, has to back out so that they don't make a collision, go off.
Same thing happening right behind him. We got a battle for P1, a battle for P3 going on as well. Christopher Strepa has struggled here a little bit. It makes no difference. It's of little consequence to him in the championship. He's looking like he's about to win his first LMU championship here today. But you would like to also finish on the podium, and Dave Beckett cares very little about that in his Split 1 championship, as he continues to race him quite hard here for P3. Got a couple of hypercars coming up here, and unfortunately, they're also racing each other, but they may have to wait their turn as they're all 2x2, but they just about get it sorted. Lawrence, or not Lawrence, that's Vestlepa. Listen, they race together. They're teammates. Leave me alone. They they have to sort it out. Vestlepa sees them coming, lets them go as they get back to single file. Now, that's excellent sense of awareness. Oh, but it's gone wrong for Beckett. It's gone wrong for Beckett. Beckett has contact with one of the hypercars, and I don't know which number 6 that is. Is that Sirik? Oh, I think it is Sirik. And if it's not Sirik, I don't know who it is. It is Maciej Sirik, and an additional insult to injury, rejoining, respins the Porsche Penske.
Yeah, absolutely not what we wanted to see there. Not what we like to see either, with a collision and then an extra collision when they're trying to rejoin the track.
Absolutely not. And what you're going to see here is Beckett after. So what happens here? Does Sirik think he's clear, I wonder, and get into him? Let's see here. No, I think Beckett just goes a little bit wide and gets into the Porsche Penske, and this is the more frustrating part. They're trying to rejoin, and Beckett re-spins Maciej Sirik, and might have some strong words for each other after that one, as that was completely unavoidable by my measure. And while we were dealing with that, the lead has changed hands at the top of LMGT3. Martin Lawrence has dispatched of Klaus Nyring. So for the very first time here on LMU and RCI, we have a Ford Mustang leading in LMGT3. The Proton Racing 88 of Martin Lawrence, who proclaimed prior to today's race that he didn't know what he was doing. I think he's figured it out now.
Yeah, I definitely think he's figured it out. You know, like I say, it's actually, my mind is a little bit blown considering how the performance was of this car in qualifying to the performance that he's managed to make on the track has been absolutely incredible.
He started like 5th, didn't he? He must have done, because he didn't start on the podium. Like, he started like 4th or 5th. Yeah, he did start 5th. Even more incredible indeed. From 5th place, certainly the deepest starting position. If he can hang on for 10 minutes, he could end up with a win here today. I would assume if the hypercars are right there on the edge of being able to make it on their virtual energy, that the LMGT3s are going to have no problem making it to the end. But here it is, 20. I think they're all going to make it now with 10 minutes left to go. They used up a lot of energy in the first part of the race. They may have turned the engine maps down, or the delivery map down is the way it works in LMU. You can deliver a certain amount of kilowatts, and it's very possible that They all just turned it down to a very low amount of electric energy delivery. And that's the interesting thing about the cars, Katrina. Mentioned a lot at the beginning of the season, but never really explained what I was talking about. These cars are all very different. Obviously, they're different manufacturers. The hybrid system and the way that it deploys that energy, that electrical energy, is different. Some of the cars, like I believe the Glickenhaus, can deliver up to 200 kilowatts of power through that electrical discharge. Or no, excuse me, it's not the Glick. It's is it the Peugeot? One of them can deliver 200 kilowatts. And I drove it the other week, but I'm scatterbrained. But most of them deliver a bit less. Now, obviously, you deliver more electric power, you're using more, and sometimes that's good if you're trying to make passes. Sometimes it's bad if you're trying to save electrical output. Most of the cars can only deliver about 150 kilowatt, but you can change it, and it's variable. Some cars can basically, you can turn it off. Other cars, not quite so much. It's very strange. All of them are a bit different in that respect.
But I guess that's what makes for an interesting. So every car's a little bit different, you know. So tracks might be better for some cars than they are for others, and that makes it interesting.
Yeah, of course, it absolutely does. I mean, you talk about the variance. Some teams have went for an offensive approach with it. Some have gone for a more of a defensive approach. It looks like there's a couple of cars that I think barely get over 100 kilowatts as far as the hybrid system in the hypercar is concerned. Others, you can basically get a full dose out of it anytime you want, and it's like, it almost feels like you're driving a completely different car. I like the way it's implemented. I assume, I've never driven a real hypercar, shock there, but I would assume it's that way in the real cars, where all the little variances between the manufacturers exist here. I know it's done differently in other sims, but I would assume in the game that's meant to emulate the WEC, it's probably done the most accurately. First race this year, potentially no movement inside the top 5. Vasquez continues to run around everyone else. Francesco Adamu, who's joined us, looking to put a podium on the board in race number 1 of their career. Vasquez looking to tack on a win here. Capslar looking like your champion-elect in the hypercar class in split number 1. Be curious to hear Capslar's thoughts on how he thinks this season has gone. David Oken's gone off again and has rejoined us. David Pettick's gone off as well. Made it all the way to the wall, it looks like. The broadcaster said he heard a crunch. I wonder if they'll bring that car down pit lane, or they're just going to try and suffer with it for 5 minutes. And they are just going to try and suffer with it for 5 minutes. Jordan Daly reckons that in a race, you only need about 40 to 70 kilowatts or watts. I think it's kilowatts, but I'm not sure.
I was just gonna pipe in about the Pettit crash and say that, you know, for someone who's currently in second in the standings and with Vasquez behind him, that crash, obviously, if he went in and repaired, might be the difference between him like keeping second, third in the standings. So that's probably something that's playing on his mind as well. If he goes in and he drops down, he doesn't have the time to make back up the timings, you know, to get back through the pack. So that's my take on it, and why he may have stayed out for the 5 minutes, even though, you know, we can clearly see that he is holding damage.
Oh my goodness, that's unnecessarily close right there. The Lamborghini, the Iron Lynx car, monster trucks over the curbs, and I don't think we've seen that at all today. And I know why they're doing that. It's because they're trying to keep Capslar behind them. But even still, the fact that Francisco hung on to that was incredible. And the fact that somehow that Adam is not in front of him is even more so. But Katrina, you are so right about that. I had completely forgot about Pettick's championship hopes and keeping second place. You know, if that's what you're fighting for, that's what you're fighting for. That's the most important thing. And you're right. It's possible with Barnabas dominating this race, if they come outside the top 10, that could have been all she wrote. So it might be worth just dealing with it, grinning and bearing it, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that plays on a driver's mind. Especially, you know, when we're in the finale, and whatever happens here happens, and this does make or break whatever happens in the standings. So yeah, definitely something that they'll be thinking about. I think everybody on this racetrack will be thinking about it. Maybe not for Adam Yu, because he's new, and obviously he's joined us today for the final race, and his points won't be enough to, you know, get him up there. But
here's Matteo Parma continuing. Speaking of drivers on their first race, and by the way, we have finally had a break in the weather. It's still moist out there. It's still raining, drizzling, if you will, but the sun is actually breaking through the cloud. Welcome to Brazil, Katrina. If this is your first time here, this is quite close to what the weather pattern in Sao Paulo is like, being tropical and all of that. So we have had a break in the weather, and the sun is out. The track very much wet. But shout out to Matteo Parma joining us in the Manthey Porsche, one of the other new cars. We focus so much on Martin Lawrence's Ford Mustang. Parma is also in a brand new car in the series that we haven't had. It wasn't available at the beginning. So having this car on the track is giving us another reference point of data, and Parma dipping their toe into the LMU pool. And, well, looks like they're going to turn all the laps, and that's the most important thing when you're learning a car, a track, a sim. Just turn all the laps. Get all the data you possibly can do. Buckley's into the pit lane. Klaus Neiring's into the pit lane with 1:42 left to go. That's energy, Katrina. They are running out of energy in the LMGT3 field.
yeah, absolutely. It looks like that they're both a bit worried that they're not going to get to the end with, you know, the lap that they're on and the laps that they've got left remaining, and they've had to come in and do energy, which we haven't seen in a while, probably since the first couple of races, where, you know, the energy, they need like the tiniest bit of energy to get them through the last couple of laps.
David Beckett continuing. I think they've caught Verstappen again, and they're continuing to hound them. Oh, never mind. That wasn't what we just saw. I just thought we saw Beckett on the back of Verstappen again. I was going to wonder how that happened, but that hasn't happened. David Beckett's by himself, in fact, in fourth place after the previous incident. Less than a minute to go in the championship this season, folks. On behalf of everyone here at RCI, we just want to thank you all for taking this journey with us. It hasn't always been a smooth ride here in the first LMU Sprint Series Championship, but we thank you so much for joining us. And I just want to say, Katrina, I want your thoughts on this, but there were a lot of questions about, is LMU a sim that should be taken seriously? Should it have its own following like it does? Is it worthy? Is it worth it? For me, the answer was resounding hell yes. Absolutely it is, and we should get one more lap here. I don't think Barnabas is going to let off here. I think he'll go one more, or will he let off? No, he is not. Oh, it's going to be close to the line. He made it. He's going to do one more lap, and while Barnabas Facekiss takes a victory lap in the Total Energies Peugeot, I think the answer to all those questions, is LMU worth it? Is it that good? I think the answer is hell yeah. I think it's absolutely amazing. We've seen some amazing racing. We've done an entire season. We've proved it's viable here at RCI. We've proved that it's fun, that it is chaotic, and it has all the strategy that you would expect. Multi-class works. It's brilliant in my opinion, but I'm curious what your thoughts are.
I'm gonna mirror what you said, to be honest, and I think I'm gonna say yes too. I genuinely have had so much fun watching the cars. You know, obviously it's been a learning experience for everybody, you know, the drivers and us up here. So it's been fun in that aspect too. But I think from what we've seen in this series and moving forward, I genuinely think that, you know, everybody who hasn't yet tried LMU should try LMU. You know, anybody that hasn't watched it should try watching it. I think it's definitely up there for me.
I couldn't agree more. And I know there's a lot of people out there that have tried LMU and they go, oh, it doesn't feel right. It's not to my liking. I don't know what to say to you. I mean, cars drive different. And not every sim is going to feel like you want it to be. It is what you make it in the end. But it has been brilliant for Barnabas Facekiss. They may have lost the opportunity to win the championship a week ago, but they've retaliated and won the race in the Total Energies Peugeot. Martin Lawrence has brought the Proton Ford Mustang to victory in its first ever race. From fifth on the grid, Francesco Adamu will hold off Adam Kapslar for second place, but Kapslar will get the final laugh as he has won the LMU Sprint Series Championship for Season 1 here in RCI. Klaus Nyring will come home P2 in the spirit of the race. Ferrari. It could have been a disaster. Looked like they were going to fall back. Ended up only sliding to P2. And it was another brilliant drive and an excellent debut in LMU from the younger Kierton, the junior Kierton in the family. But the family's legacy, no, definitely not in doubt. Louis Kierton posting top fives all season. And for Christoph Stoipa, it's P3 today, but it's an LMGT3 championship in LMU. It's another sim that Verstappen has won a championship in his maiden series as well. Thought there was going to be a humongous crash there with Pettick. Luckily, Verstappen reset to the pit lane. John Becker came across the line in 11th. We're going to have to see where that Cadillac finished in the final standings. They were sort of in the mix for the championship in Split 2. We'll try and bring that to you. Folks, what we're saying is, Katrina and I, is if you haven't tried LMU, try it. If you tried it initially but haven't played it for a while, try it again. If you don't like the physics, get over it. Figure it out. Get on the racetrack. Enjoy it. It's so fun. It is a brilliant sim with its own handling characteristics and dynamic. It's absolutely worth your time. Hey, and if you don't like it in the end, you don't like it. Go race something else. That's fine. You owe it to yourself to give it a chance. I didn't like broccoli when I was a kid. I eat the heck out of broccoli. I'm going to have broccoli tonight. It do be like that sometimes. Barnabas Facekiss wins in the hypercar class, 39 laps and 14 seconds in front of Francesco Adamu on an excellent debut from that driver. Kapslar, your champion, finishes third, ends the season with a podium. Roche, Louis Kierton rounds out your top five. Michel Rodriguez, David Pettick, Maciej Sirik, Miguel Martins, Sergei Skidnov. A quiet day, but a solid day inside the top 10. John Becker at 11th. Ramos, Van Driesche, Boss, Whiffle, top 15. Van der Velken, Lee Passo, and Baker, your drivers in the class, with Lee and Just not finishing today's race. LMGT3 is a little bit like this. Martin Lawrence wins it in his debut, 35 laps and 31 seconds in front of Klaus Nyring. Christoph Verstappen in third place, David Beckett in fourth, Mike Redford in fifth. Parma, the last finisher. Buckley and Malloy did not finish after Malloy set it on pole. Christoph Verstappen is your champion. Katrina, you've been with me all season. We've seen it all together. We've often been speechless and flabbergasted. But I've gotta know, what are your takeaways from your first LMU championship? A new sim, a lot of new technology, a lot went down. We've We saw Studio 397 update the game before our eyes. New cars came out and debuted. We saw graphics suddenly work in the middle of the championship. Fuel saving strategies. I mean, can you possibly sum up what we've seen this year?
Yes. It's been hectic. But what I am going to say is it's been entertaining at the same time. And what I am also going to say is the fact that we have seen everything from, like you say, tires changes to, pit stop strategies to, hypercars working out that they can clutch. I think it genuinely has been, one of the most entertaining races that I've ever been part of, which has not been very many. But, that's where I'm at. So yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Like I say.
I am rarely ever speechless, and my wife can tell you that. But I was speechless about half a dozen times in this championship. And one of the times today was seeing the Proton Ford Mustang drive through the field. Martin, you said prior to the race you didn't know what you were doing. You figured it out, man. You passed 5 cars. You did it in a Mustang. Do you feel American today?
Oh, yes, I do. I hope I made you proud, Jesse.
You did. You
Um,
did it in my favorite car too, to be fair. I am a Mustang fanboy.
I think I was just like sort of lucky because on the start, like as I'm watching the replay, basically every GT3 had damage, like a lot of damage.
Mm.
So yeah, and I went like to the escape route, which ended. So yeah, the grass was funny, but yeah, I stayed out of the troubles. I had a few taps from some GTPs, but yeah, I guess I was the least broken. So the pace was nice, and actually it drove nice. I did some clicks from quali, and I found out I'm running low wing, so might be the issue. I was spinning around like a JoJo, but yeah, it was fun.
Well, I was going to ask you about the car setup. It looked sketchy out there at times. Was that just the weather and less to do with the car?
Yeah, it was like the more rain, it was way sketchier. There's a big difference between ACC and this, it seems.
Hmm.
But the setup was actually nice. It was sketchy, but in a way I can manage. So I was like a little bit like drifting in the corners and such. It was fun. So yeah, I think I nailed it, sort of.
Well, it's another sim, Martin, and another win for you. Is that foreshadowing potentially more LMU races for you now, knowing that you clearly have the pace, you have the ability to go out there and make passes? I mean, first of all, what did you think about the sim, and can we expect you back for more LMU?
I definitely wanted to do more LMU in this season, but my time schedule and it was just, yeah, it was messy. So I didn't, so I at least joined the last race, but yeah, sure. No, I will do more of LMU because I'm not bored with ACC, but yeah, we'll need to change. I have numerous of championships right now, so after that, yes, I need a little bit of like space for a while. So yeah, I definitely can drive for more of LMU. And finally, I figured it out because I had a lot of issues when I was driving some daily races with Chris here, and I had so many disconnects for no reason at all. Because my internet connection is stable most of the time because of endurance in ACC. Must be. And it was just disconnecting me after like 2 minutes or 2 minutes before the end of the race, and yeah, so that was disappointing, but seems it's fixed, so yeah.
Finally, you want to shout out the team, the family?
No, yeah. Oh well, family is not watching. Brother is playing breakfast too, for sure. I'm
He
looking to
got in the
jump.
beta. He got in the
Yes.
beta. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding?
Yeah,
I'm
played
no
as
longer
well.
friends with him. I'm no longer friends with him. Anyway,
And
moving on.
And yeah, obviously, thanks for everyone who was racing with me today. It was fun. Was way more fun than in iRacing, the multi-class. And yeah, team, everyone.
There you go. Martin Lawrence on his debut parks it in the winner's circle, driving the Proton Ford Mustang at a rainy Interlagos. Literally the worst case scenario you might think of. Had to start from fifth and won the race. Martin Lawrence, a winner today and a winner in my heart. Congratulations.
Thank you, and congratulations to all the boys on podium and champ.
There you go. Martin Lawrence to Christoph Ostrepa, your champion in the LMG T3 category. Chris, it wasn't easy, this championship, was it? You were always fighting somebody, it seemed like.
Yeah, it was really hard, mate. To be honest, I feel a little bit like Lewis Hamilton today. I can't believe it that I'm here.
I got to say, it was brilliant because you didn't just go out in the front of the field and win it by a mile. You were fighting for it. The wins, it was never the same person. Sometimes it was Gil. Sometimes it was other people. You know, today, obviously, it was Martin Lawrence out of absolutely nowhere. But can you sum up your first championship in LMU?
So yeah, I just joined the championship to get some little experience in LMU because we're moving from ACC more towards this, I guess, because ACC is ending. And yeah, there was only one car to choose because I didn't have the DLC yet, so I was just trying to get some miles under my belt. And yeah, just like you said, I literally fought like 75% of the GT3 drivers. Yeah, had a lot of fun.
Did you expect to be immediately competitive? Now, I mean, you've got a long history in ACC of being, you know, a very dominant driver featured up inside the top couple, if not, you know, a mile ahead of everyone. But did you expect to be immediately on pace, immediately competitive like you have been?
I'm not sure. I have been pretty competitive, to be honest. Like I won it maybe in the end, but that's because a lot of the others got maybe very bad races or sign outs. Yeah, I feel a little bit mediocre in the the skill department at the moment in LMU. I need to step it up big time.
That's crazy to hear, folks. Your champion in Split One, LMGT3, just said, well, "I didn't feel very competitive," but he's walking away with a cup. So I asked Martin this. I'll ask you this, Chris. LMU, your first season. Do you have any final thoughts? And would you like to continue a future series, maybe in LMU?
Yes, I'll definitely continue. Like I was saying to Martin during the race, even though I was like 40, 50 seconds off the lead, had massive understeer, I said I was still enjoying the driving. Like
Okay.
the sounds, the racing, it's a very good game.
Some of your friends and teammates are making fun of you in our chat, by the way, for how humble you are, by the way, but you're probably used to that. But no, it was a brilliant campaign and just an excellent, consistent drive throughout. You weren't the flashiest driver, but I think it goes to show that you don't always have to be. You have to be the most consistent, and that is exactly what you were like. One final thing. Do you have a favorite moment from this season?
You're putting me a bit on the spot here right now. No, I'm not sure. I had lots of crazy side-by-side battles with half of the field, so there were many moments, but none in particular, I think.
And finally, anybody you want to shout out? Friends, family, loved ones?
Yeah, shout out to my lovely dog, of course. She was so nice today, and now she has to walk, of course.
A celebratory walk.
Aw.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Chris, thanks for coming and talking to us. Congratulations. RCI's first ever LMU GT3 champion. You've done it with consistency. You were there when it mattered and you never gave up. A deserving champion in all rights. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ostrepa is always an incredibly humble individual. We were hoping to get Adam Kapslar in for an interview. It doesn't look like that's going to be possible. So I'm going to do the interview with myself as him. How did you win that championship, Adam? Well, I was out in front more often than other people were. Adam, what do you think about winning this championship? It is great. Excellent. Thanks for coming and talking to us. That was Adam Kapslar,
Congratulations.
our winner in the hypercar class. Katrina, it was me. See, I even fooled my own
Oh.
co-host.
God, you could have fooled me, Jesse.
The mask
Could have
comes
fooled
off.
me.
Here is your provisional championship standing, starting with Split 1 Hypercar. Kapslar wins it over Barnabas Facekiss, who does retake P2, like Katrina alluded to. You have a ridiculous average for predicting things this season, Katrina. That's my takeaway from this entire season, is how right you were most of the time. You were at least 80% of the time you were right. Now I know why Ted likes you. 255 points to 234 points from Barnabas Facekiss. David Pettick slides to third in the finale at 222. Peter Roche in fourth. Michelle Rodriguez hangs on to fifth. Louis Kierton will be sixth. Maciej Sirik in seventh. Van Driesch is eighth. Mikel Ramos ninth. Nico Kuzma ends the championship in 10th. You know, Thomas, if my partner was right 80% of the time, I wouldn't argue with her either. Outside the top 10, Marco Badowski in 11th. Fonza is 12th. Miguel Martins in 13th. Gottschalk 14th. Octane is your final top 15 car. A car, Cooper, Skidnov, Keller, Shekerjev, and Francisco Adamu, the 21 drivers that took part in Hypercar. Christoph Estrepa didn't even that wasn't even the final point standings, but don't need them anyway. We know that Christoph Estrepa has won the championship in LMGT3.
I'm just pipe in and say, we spoke about it early on in the championship about consistency, and I feel like Christoph is literally the epitome of that. Like, if you see it straight up, he didn't miss a race, he didn't DNF any race compared to the people that, you know, were fighting for the championship podium like places. So yeah, I just want to point out that, you know, consistency, we spoke about it, definitely goes to show with him winning the number one spot today.
Couldn't have said it better myself. These are the updated Hypercar standings outside the top 10. It's Badowski, Martins, Fonza, Gottschalk, and Skidinov. Then it was Octane, A-Car, Adamu, who got points today and jumped a couple of cars, including Cooper, Keller, and Shekerjev. That is the unofficially official finish for the Hypercar class. Now moving on to the LMGT3 finishers. Verstappen ran away with it in the end over Klaus Neiring. Today, the top two, with Ryan Gill still being credited with a third place finish. His strong midseason enough to keep him in third. Ellis Buckley in fourth. Dan Van Zutphen will stay in fifth. Vic, Willamot, Beckett, Lindner, and Jackson, the top 10 in Split 1 LMGT3. Cotton, City, Malcolm, Lawrence were the cars that got points. Ozkin and Luca didn't score points this season, but took part in a race. Well, a couple of deserving champions in Kapslar and Verstappen. Some surprise winners this season as well. Surprise pole position winner in Cormac Malloy, out qualifying the pro drivers. And Martin Lawrence showing up and winning from fifth place among the highlights. The chaos of cars not pitting at Spa is high up on my list of things that happened here today. Barnabas Facekiss showing them that it is possible that you don't have to pit, and then seeing people replicate that at Circuit of the Americas, the split strategy with the tires at different point in the season, drivers struggling with their virtual energy, struggling with the cars, with the tracks, with traffic. My goodness, it's been just an incredible season, and just a snippet there at the end of what to expect for another season. If you haven't got your LMU fix, we have more LMU. It's the Hypercar Series on Night Owl. Hyper Sprint is what it's being called. All hypercars, 4 races. Go for it. That starts in a couple of weeks from now. Still time to go to racerci.com and check it out and sign up. We've also got iRacing and ACC series running currently. Katrina, a lot to unpack, but final thoughts.
Well, I can't believe that this race and many races in this series are just speechless.
Well, of course, too, this is also your maiden series that you've commentated with us here at RCI as well. And quite frankly, I thought I would have scared you after the first race and you wouldn't have ever come back. But you stuck with it through 8 races, and for whatever reason, you stuck with it. Well, I guess compared to Thomas, I'm not that bad. But that being said, you stuck it out and you lived with the confusion with us this entire way through it. And I got to say, you've done a hell of a job, and it's a commendable effort to come in as a rookie commentator into a sim that nobody knows anything about, that it's impossible to study for, and put on a show every week. I think you did an excellent job. So my next question is, when are we going to see you back? Will we see you back?
You'll definitely see me back, Jesse. You can't get rid of me now. I've got the bug, you know. But for when, I don't know. Well, we'll have to talk about it.
See, now you've doubly screwed up. You're stuck with Thomas. You're stuck with us. It's a never-ending vicious cycle. Folks, that's going to be just about it from us here on RCI TV today. We thank you so much for being with us. Mike Redford, Kevin Boss is correct. Redford, you are in Split 2. We unfortunately do not have the Split 2 final standings today. We will talk about them in an upcoming broadcast for sure. But on behalf of everyone here at RCI, we'd like to thank you all for joining us. We invite you to like, subscribe, and hit the bell and follow if you haven't already on your way out. Go to racerci.com, visit our partners, and check out everything they have on offer. And we appreciate all of our partners indeed. On behalf of the broadcast team, I've been Jesse Lee, joined by Katrina and Ted Edwards, bringing you the entire LMU Sprint Championship. What's next for Fridays? Only time will tell. Until then, thank you all for watching. And until then, have a good night.
You ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Get behind the wheel, let's go. Grip the road, feel the flow. Thunder roaring, steel alive. Live this dream and drive. Tires burning with gasoline. Push the limits, chasing green. One shot, don't slow. Go on, we'll take control. Engines scream alive tonight. Blazing past the red line. Outrun the night, won't lose this fight. Follow the road, red line for show. We're chasing taillights, don't let go. Under the stars, we'll go so far. This is who we are. Chasing taillights. Chasing taillights. Chasing taillights. We're chasing taillights. The miles they fade, but they don't die. Faster now, the hours fly by. Sweat and gears, hearts in sync. On the edge, on the brink. Clock ticks down, stakes are high. One mistake, we kiss us goodbye. Don't slow down, we're not done. Finish line for the strong ones. Engines scream alive tonight. Blazing chasing